Hey, Dwayne Kuiper here. If you're watching Barrier Sports Wrap, then you got nothing else to do.
Jacobs, no shock, barreling forward, touchdown again, number 3 for Jacobs in Green Bay.
The whole game was. So to label the biggest one, the first half, just the run defense was real disappointing. I thought we got out of gaps a number of times. I thought we had way too many missed tackles. Just them being able to control that clock in the first half was one of the worst ones I've been a part of, just for as far as a half. I thought we stepped it up there in the second half, did better, especially in the run game. Offense got an opportunity to get going. They gave us an opportunity to get back in the game. And then to have those 3 turnovers, that all 3 led to touchdowns with 21 points. You top that with the penalties and stuff, and that's how you get embarrassed like that.
Welcome to Barrier Sports Wrap. It's week 12 in the NFL, and the 49ers took a complete thumping up there in the frozen tundra in Green Bay, losing to the Green Bay Packers 38-10. Alongside of me is Ryan Leong. I am Marko Ukalovic, and it's time to, recap such. And everyone is pretty much in accordance and agreement with this. It was an embarrassment for the San Francisco 49ers today out there, Ryan.
Yeah, no question. They just didn't have it. They got outgained rushing yards. They had 44 total rushing yards compared to 169 by the Packers to start with. By the way, this also set some records. This was the worst ever loss by the Niners to the Packers in franchise history, a 28-point margin. Josh Jacobs, that name might ring a bell to you, huh, Marko?
Yeah.
The former Raider, first 49ers opponent since 2016 to run for over 100 yards and 3 or more touchdowns. That's a span of 55 games. And the last time the Niners were this late in the season below 500 was 2020 when they finished that season at 6-10, obviously not making the playoffs.
Yeah, pretty brutal. And it was the Josh Jacobs show today. And you look at the Niners, who they were without. They were without starting quarterback Brock Purdy with a shoulder injury. They were out with their left tackle Trent Williams, who anchors that line, offensive line, and they were out without Nick Bosa. Most importantly, they were out without him, and they were not able to get any pressure on Jordan Love. Not that Jordan Love had a big game today, because they didn't need him to have one with the way they were able to run down the 49ers' throats with Josh Jacobs and company. And you just look at the way that this game was over pretty much at halftime when it was 17-7, and the Niners just were never in this. And again, you can't expect Brandon Allen, who hasn't not played a game in 3 years, to go out there and perform a miracle, especially with the offensive line, with the way they've been, and the way they performed today was quite atrocious out there.
Yeah, no, you said it. In fact, I watched just a little bit of a recap from CBS Sports to get their analysis on things, and they just basically said it pretty simple. The Niners' injuries have decimated their roster, and they're basically out of bullets. That's a good way of putting it. And the Niners have no ammunition, and even when they do, they do still have other guys. Where the heck was Isaac Guerrero? What happened to him? Is he hurt?
No, I don't believe so.
Jordan Mason get 3 touches today?
Yeah.
Jeez, criminy. What's going on with Shanahan? I think he's lost his team. I don't know what's going on. I just don't think. Granted, they do have a lot of injuries, but guys are underachieving, man. It's like you've got to. Yeah, you know football as well as anybody else. It's always about next man up. Next man up, and the Niners are not doing that.
Yeah, and because of the injuries, they've been their lack of depth has been exposed now in these last few weeks, including in today's game out there in Green Bay. When you don't have guys like Dre Greenlaw stepping up or Bosa on the defensive line, it's no wonder, and it shouldn't be a surprise that the 49ers did get run on today. And Josh Jacobs, again, leading the way with his 3 touchdowns, and they couldn't stop him if they wanted to. And it just goes to show you that you're right. This team is out of bullets. And, from the offensive standpoint, if there was any time, any game where you needed your superstar running back, Christian McCaffrey, to get as many touches as possible to take the pressure off of a Brandon Allen, this was the game to do it. And Kyle Shanahan did not. I believe the last time I saw, Christian McCaffrey only had 14 touches, 11 rushes, and 3 receptions. That is not going to get it done.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Debo Samuel had a bad game today, one of his worst games ever, having balls slip right through his hands. I don't know if it was the cold that was affecting him or maybe because they were already down, but he was absent. He looked like a kind of a deer in the headlights out there today. And then no, like you said, no one else stepped up. Again, Jordan Mason gets a couple touches and just there's the only one who had a decent game out there today was George Kittle, and I believe in the email that the Niners sent, he is now number 3 on the franchise list for most receptions with 509. He just passed Roger Craig and the great late Dwight Clark on that list. Of course, up next is Toro Owens, and of course Jerry Rice, which will never be, touched. But a good day for Kittle. It was really the only bright spot in this game for the 49ers today, Ryan.
No, I agree. I mean, the Niners are just, this team definitely is suffering a Super Bowl hangover. I mean, I think they lost so much motivation when they lost that game to the Chiefs. And I think the Chiefs, even though they've had that loss to Buffalo, it's done the opposite for them. I just think the Niners just right now, they're lacking motivation. I don't know what else to say. What else do you think it could be, Marco?
Again, you can't make excuses with the injuries. I know that's been their big, Achilles heel this year, but yeah, it just looks like you're right. They don't look motivated. They don't look like they're in every play. Even when the games that they've won and barely pulled out, you can see some lapses there, especially from the offensive side of the ball. But yeah, it's tough to get things going when you don't have a good offensive line. And again, Brandon Allen was under so much pressure today. You can't fault him for any of the offensive woes that the 49ers suffered. And again, when you don't give Christian McCaffrey the ball at least 25 to 30 times, I'm going to beat this dead horse till my fist falls off, because you have to give that guy that many touches. Okay. He's 100% healthy now. There's nothing nagging him. His Achilles is fine. Everything's fine. His ankle. Why isn't he not getting the ball more? Okay, I'm sorry. You got to try to run. They could have did the same thing Green Bay did, as far as trying to run down their throats as well, and they did not do that. They expected Brandon Allen to throw 40 to 50 times today. I'm sorry, that's not a winning formula or a winning recipe. And and in fact, I'm sorry, all of this falls on Kyle Shanahan and this coaching staff today. It was god awful to watch.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I really didn't watch it. I didn't think I had to do today, and I was trying to follow it kind of here and there, and just seeing the fact that the Niners were down 17-0 was already an indication to me that they had lost this game. But the funny thing is, even before the game, we were Marco, you and me were at the Sharks, and we had our chance to see our good colleague Michael Roberson, who's from the Milwaukee area, and he was asking me my thoughts on the Niners game against the Packers, and I was like flat out, I said they're going to lose just because. I didn't. This is before we knew about Trent Williams, but I knew for sure they had no Bosa and no Brock Purdy, and you're playing in Green Bay, not when it's super cold, but still, it's not, it's cold by our standards in late November. It was like maybe I think like high 30s, low 40s for the temperature, and so I just thought the Packers coming off a big win against the Bears, they were motivated to beat the 49ers. The Niners have been handing it to them for a number of years, and I think the Packers are pretty fed up with it. So, they took it out on them, and rightfully so. I just think this has to serve as a huge wake-up call for the Niners, and I don't know if it's going to get any better for them, because now they're going to go to Buffalo after they already they're flying home for Thanksgiving. They would have stayed had it been like a normal week, but obviously when you got another game coming up on the East Coast, and it's the Sunday night game next Sunday, there's just too much time in between, and so you can't also expect the 49ers players and coaches and everybody else in the organization to miss time with their families. So that makes it even tougher. Flying back for Thanksgiving and then flying back again to Buffalo to take on one of the best teams in the AFC East. I just don't know how the Niners are going to do it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think it's going to be a massacre in Buffalo coming this Sunday night, and it's almost like maybe NBC and NFL should flex this game out and put it in a different game, because I don't think we're going to see too much of a competitive game, at least from the Niners standpoint. You have a Buffalo Bills team that's 9-2. They're getting ready to wrap up that AFC East division, and they're coming off a bye, so they're all rested.
Yeah.
And they're kind of, I think, licking their chops. I'm sure they're going to watch the video tomorrow from this game against Green Bay, and you got to think they're going to be licking their chops when the Niners fly into town on Saturday, because this team is. They're digging a deeper hole every single week now, and there's no signs of them getting out of it. And I believe that it's only going to get worse from here down out. Even if they get everyone back within the last, like, say, 3-4 weeks of the season. I just don't see them, having the motivation really to want to win the NFC West, despite it's still up for grabs. You had the Rams take a thumping from Philadelphia tonight on Sunday Night Football. I believe Seattle took care of Arizona, who was the top of the division. Now you have a three-way, or actually, sorry, two-way tie, because had the Rams won tonight, it would have been a three-way tie.
Mhm.
But yeah, so yeah, you have everyone that's a game out, if not tied for the division. So despite all that, it's so hard for me to fathom that the 49ers are going to be a playoff team right now.
Yeah, well, the thing that's killing them, of course, is the fact that they only have one win in the division. I mean, that's just not going to do it. You got to do better in your division games. But well, I guess nobody's doing really well, right? Is it the other guys are all just 2 wins? I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're just 1 win back. Oh my goodness, yeah, this is the division for the taking for sure. I mean, this is not exactly must see TV for by any means. But I just hope the Niners enjoy Thanksgiving. They played like turkeys. They might as well enjoy some, right?
Yeah, exactly. And again, speaking of those division games, Ryan, they've blown the lead in those 3 division games that they've lost.
Yeah.
The ones they should have had.
Yeah.
And last year's team doesn't blow those leads. There's something going on with this team this year. And again, you've alluded to it. It could be the Super Bowl hangover. It could be that Kyle Shanahan maybe doesn't have the respect of his players like he maybe did the last couple of years. Things have changed for sure. Now, again, can this team have the mental fortitude, that mental toughness to dig themselves out? They've proven to go to the NFC Championship game, 3 times in the last 5 years. They should be able to do that, right? But we've yet to see that team so far this season, and we're after week 12 now, and with what 5-6 weeks left, it's going to be tough for them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, they just got to start turning around. They got to get wins. They just got this plain and simple. Got to win games, and they got to get on a winning streak, because that's the problem they're having here is get on a winning streak and start winning some division games. Unfortunately, again, for them, they don't have division games coming up. Right, they're playing Buffalo, then they're playing Chicago,
Yep.
and then they play the Rams. Right, so the next division game is until then. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't think it's going to be very good in Buffalo. I think the Niners have a chance when they play against Chicago, but then come back home and play the Rams on a Thursday night, that's going to be a real crapshoot.
Yeah, exactly. Because you figure after they play the Bears, and you got the Rams 4 days later. I mean, the schedule's not working in their favor as far as the timing of it and the teams that they're going to be playing. So 5-6, and now you got to go to Buffalo after Thanksgiving to play a team that's red hot, firing on all cylinders. A team that no one thought that they were gonna perform as well as they have, because they lost their top 2 receivers and they replaced people on their defense. But Buffalo actually got better, and I think that was a little shock to some people. I think that a lot of people thought that Miami was going to be the cream of the crop in the AFC East, and they haven't. And Buffalo has taken that reign. And to me, they're the best team in the AFC right now. I know the Chiefs are 10-1, but they barely beat Carolina today. It took a last-second field goal from their latest kicker, as they allowed Carolina to tie the score with under 2 minutes left in that game. So I'm sorry, 10-1. Okay, that's fine, but they haven't proven that they're a championship caliber team, where Buffalo has looked everything like that, along with the Detroit Lions. So you got Detroit, the best team in the NFC, Buffalo the best team in the AFC, despite the record. And I just look at the way the 49ers are going to go into this, just machine that's the Buffalo Bills, and it's just not going to look good going when they come out of there this next Sunday night.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. Well, of course, hopefully Marko will get a chance to recap it right after the Sunday night game next week, and we'll be doing probably a post-mortem if it's not a good result.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, and hopefully, again, luckily they're in the division where even if they do lose next week, it's not curtains. It's not the season's over. But if they were really in any other division, it would be. But so look, what they could do is try to heal up. They're gonna deal with the Thanksgiving holiday on Thursday, and we'll see what happens if they can fly out to the East Coast. It's going to be a harsh winter night. It's going to be snowing. The forecast already calls for snow. So if the Niners can just play competitive, I think fans should be happy with that just because of Josh Allen and the firepower that team has. And we'll see what happens. But it's going to be interesting to watch next Sunday night for sure, Ryan.
Yep, sounds good, Marco. I look forward to talking about it next Sunday.
All right. Well, for Ryan Leong, I'm Marko Ukalovic, and we'll be back next week to recap the Buffalo game. And this is Bay Area Sports Wrap.
So the good friends Matt LaFleur and Kyle Shannon will meet at midfield. And Matt LaFleur's Packers, largest win in series history, 28 points.
Hi, y'all. I'm NFL reporter Jen Hale. You are watching Bay Area Sports Wrap. Please give my friend a like and follow his channel on YouTube. He does a fantastic job.